What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope August is holding up for you guys, and I hope you guys are ready to go for today. Tomorrow, we do got a big day, light on the news today, so not much really happening. So kind of a boring day, except for you guys. You guys are probably always making fun, at least for me. But we got Alex in the house. Good morning to you. Amy, good morning. We got Andrew with us. Good morning to Andy, Bill, Craig, Drake. Inga's in the house. Good morning to Jay, Joe, John Miller, Lauren Martinez with us. We got Richard Jett gonna rock with us all day. Good morning to Ron, Sean, Tanya. We got Ty Win. We got CJ piling in. Bill, good morning. Man, the squad is here. Everybody out there, YouTube land, good morning to you guys. Good morning to Daniel out there in YouTube land. Make sure on YouTube, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the notification bell thing. If there's a whistle, do that thing. But do whatever makes you happy. Actually, you know what? Just a free world. Just do you. Just do you, baby boo. Let's go. Let's see what the SPY is looking like. So the SPY right now, we do have a little bit of a gap up. Technically, yesterday ended as a green day. So got a little scary at some points. I don't know. The market seems to keep throwing in these little bit of traps. The bulls are refusing to move. And if we're looking back, I mean, this is now since the first gap down, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days essentially in the same range. And I don't think that changes today. I think today is probably another inside chop day. Again, going to be maybe a little bit to the boring side. So in that note, I think maybe sell high, buy low would be the strategy. The only thing that's going to be a little bit different, and again, I think it could add to chop, but I don't know, what expectations for tomorrow is going to be. Also, I don't know when people want to execute those positions to start getting ready for tomorrow. So we do have CPI tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be as huge of a deal, honestly, unless there's a huge miss in either direction. A huge, just absolutely crushing inflation, or inflation is back, and that becomes the new topic, the new focus once again, and we repeat the cycle. Otherwise, I don't really see a huge move in CPI other than what's expected, and it could leave us in the chop. But just ahead of something big, a big event. I mean, if you were looking to swing trade, why would you establish your positions before tomorrow? If you were to long-term invest, why not just wait one more day? What's the difference in over the course of 10 years? So it's day traders going to be going back and forth. The algo is going to be going back and forth, and I think we're going to be tight in this this probably high wave candle. Would make a lot of sense. We do have indecision, and the only way to really play. Oops, I don't know why I did that. The only way to really play the indecision is, be wrong if it breaks there and you're going short. Go long here, and if it breaks that, well, you lose your L, you lose your R, and you reverse your position and take momentum down. If it breaks out higher when you're going short, okay, lose the R, flip the position, go the other way, right? But otherwise, you're just playing the candle, and the higher you could short, the better opportunity. The lower you could buy, the better opportunity. But yeah, I don't know that we see anything too crazy. The levels that I would be looking at for the SPY today were at essentially at open. some of the level. The one that I have to watch for is 449.71. If that breaks, it gives us a little bit of range, probably to 450.61. I think even maybe pre-market, we got kind of close to that too. Got rejected already. But 450.61, if that breaks, I don't think that breaks. I would be shocked if that breaks. That means we got to get pretty much past the 10 EMA. That would be essentially kind of right at the 10. But if that does break, then we do have a lot of room to the higher side. 456.26. I don't see that coming in today, even the top of this candle. That seems like a stretch, but 453.34. And we do have a little bit of a wide open kind of field to the higher side. To the downside, again, the levels I have to watch right now, at least. We have 449.30. So probably a tight open. Be very careful at open. I think very, very tight open. And then if that 449.45-ish, 449.30, if that breaks down to the downside, our first stop would be 447.09 and 446.40. So We got a decent range, probably more to the downside than we do to the higher side at this point. And the mini trend at least has been bearish after that gap down. But we've been in just absolute chopville, and I don't think that changes. We got QQQ. Some exchange agreements need to be filled out. What? Yeah, crazy. Yeah, crazy. All right, let me see. The Qs, they don't like me. The Qs don't like me today. Hold on 1 second. What do I do? Just hit accepted and agreed. I gotta check that box if any of the other applies and mark yes. Wait. Are you receiving office space? Okay, now so certification accepted, agreed. I've read the terms and conditions. Does anybody ever read it? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go as a farmer. All right, now I think that's filled out. They want your new green card? I guess. All right, subscription's been modified. Reload the site. And man, terms and conditions cannot keep me down. We are back again. We are back again. That's pretty crazy. All right, so we got the Qs with an updated subscription. They're giving me the Qs. That's dangerous. All right, so we got to the higher side. We got 373.96. To the lower side, I think first developing VPOC at least would be 371. So it could get a slight bounce there. Otherwise, 370.09. That is a beautiful looking hammer on the Qs, I will say. If that does not look like a bear trap to me, I don't know what else does. I mean, we're still sitting very high on the Qs. But we sold a little bit, and that bounce could be nice. I know I don't know if Craig's still holding Tesla, but we'll see what Tesla's doing as well. But that does look, I mean, if the Qs get going, which to the higher side we got 374. That's still good. $1.50 to the higher side, and that's if that just stalls out there. Otherwise, we start breaking, and this probably will have to be after CPI, but 376.72. So with that is telling me be bullish on the Qs for right now. Be bullish. That looks like a trap. Anybody going short is trap at open. We start breaking above the candle of yesterday's high. That looks decent. All right, we got pins. Craig says I closed my weekly. It was more a day trade, I guess. Gotcha. All right, we got pins. Nice looking. Also kind of similar to the Qs. Nice little high wave-ish indecision doji. But I like that wick a lot. That wick does symbolize a decent little trap for any of the bears trying to take the breakdown there. We do have a little bit of room on the pins. I would say probably up to 27.10. So that's decent. Not a lot of volume. So the one thing yesterday's candle, not a lot, which August we've seen. Your biggest volume candle would be up here. So even to retest into that, the bottom of that would be 27.12. That's right back in the zone. And then if pins wants to get a little crazy, was there news or anything on pins? Insider sell, Pinterest. Okay. Well, I should have waited a day. Could have got a little better. But yeah, it does look a little trappy. He's still holding that little support zone. And if it gives us a nice candle to open out, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Twilio does look pretty good though. Yeah, Twilio. So they reported. They had earnings. Obviously, we got huge volume. The only thing with Twilio is like it's got a nice gap already. So it's already up $2.50 for Twilio. The recent trend has been down, kind of like the rest of the market. I would look at the value area somewhere around 63.35. Wow, dude, we almost just had a slight gap up there too. So we got to watch that area. Valuation wise, it's not horrible in this price range for longer term, but you can see all the volume is starting to come in right around that 63, 60, 64, somewhere in that range is where we're start going to hit a lot of this liquidity. We have been making higher lows, which is pretty good, and maybe on a longer term basis, pins looks good. But I would like to see a little bit of a pullback first on this one. I would be a little terrified of the liquidity here. I just don't know if that's going to break through the 60, 63, 70, 64 zone, something like that. But it is already gapping nice. Again, I would love to see a little bit of a pullback first, get some better risk reward, but Twilio's definitely got to go pretty high on the list today. Let's see. Can we look at SMCI? Yes, we can. Then we got Roblo and Penn. All have nice gaps. Roblox. I think they reported this morning, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it was a pretty decent miss. Yeah, 5% to the downside on surprise earnings per share. And then revenue missed 13%. So a miss of 104. I mean, it's summer. Shouldn't the kids be home and not going outside and playing with rocks and trees and just being inside playing video games all day? That's what I've been told. If they're not spending their time on Roblox, where are they going? But I would assume the summer should be a beat. I mean, I think you got everything in your favor. But Roblox did miss. It's already selling off. So before this gap down, it's already kind of selling. That's not a great earnings report. Kenising hit some more pressure to the downside. Probably. I mean, this is a pretty nasty gap. That's two. That's two different pivots we're under. Are we at any type of support on this thing? That's another pivot we're under. This is a gross open. It's a gross open, but it is down a lot. And you are at a little bit of support. I think this one fades higher. I wouldn't be really, but there's also a gap and go technically to the bear side. I think this one would be at a fade spot. Somebody that missed that run up into probably $46. This could be a decent opportunity for somebody to get in. I think a better price in a longer term is come back down to this 26, 27 zone. So it does have a little bit of support. That's a nasty looking gap. Yeah, I'd almost want to short this thing if it goes higher, but there's a lot of money to the high side. So I'd have to see how this, I would wish this thing opens with a high wave indecision. And then we could probably take it either way because it does have room in both directions. And I think there is some decent amount of bulls being trapped on this thing. But give me like a little bit of a run up, some kind of a mini green candle, something. And then when I think taking the breakdown is go with the trend on this thing. Let's see. We got SMCI, the Super Micro Computer Center. They're just getting a little jealous because NVIDIA came out with a Super Grasshopper yesterday. Super Micro Computer is gapping down on earnings, which was a beat, I think, in both areas. Yep. So 60 cents to the surprise side on earnings per share. Downside, it was a surprise beat of 202 million. It's got to be priced for perfection. After a run up like this, you better just turn yourself into Apple overnight. Otherwise, your valuations are going to get a little crazy. But again, a little tiny bit of support. Earnings were good. No, nothing wrong with that. But this is just overvalued. We'll see if this one pulls back further. I think I like this one a little bit more to the short side than the long side. Targets could be 260. That's a big target for today after the drop of already. What is that? $50, $56, $53 to the downside. But I think coming back into this 260 range will give it a little bit better valuation. Probably still way overvalued. But yeah, they got the AI story too. So we'll see. Can somebody want to buy this thing here? I would assume, but there's still a lot of people profitable. You got the market in shaky conditions. Any type of run up, I think this will be sell the rips for a while until we kind of come back down. So nice trend though. Very nice trends. I think trends are made to be broken sometimes, and we'll see. This one will, I think, actually at open, this thing will be broken. I think. maybe we're like right at that trend. So maybe we try to play the trend if it holds actually in a bullish direction until that actually breaks. But I'll have to see where this thing actually opens. It's already jumping around like crazy. I kind of want to take it short because it's very, very high. But if we hold that trend, which it doesn't look like it, and so actually right now at open, technically, this looks like the trend is broken, right? So we'll open somewhere around here outside this trend. See if we get a bounce, probably to like 306, 307. That'd be a decent area. Maybe get a little bit higher, 313. I don't think so though. I think probably the 306, 307, that would be a better spot to short. And then I think we maybe come down. But we'll get that one on the list too. Let's see which other ones we missed so far. Penn. Yep. So Penn, they reported and nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Penn earnings. Everybody cares about the news that was attached to the earnings, to the conference and the developments. The earnings, yeah, they weren't bad. They beat up 16% to the upside. They beat by 9.83 million, yada, yada, yada. No one cares. What they do care about is a very interesting development. Penn will be one to watch. What is the short float on Penn as well? Finviz. The news is that they partnered with Disney. So 7% short float. This thing could get going. That is good news for Penn. Direct hit to DraftKings. So DraftKings is going to go down probably a little bit on this news. This thing I think already gapped to like, I think it was up 33% or something after hours, but great news for Penn. And they're also kind of unloading the or selling back Barstool Sports to Dave Portnoy. That was kind of a bad move for them. Is I mean, Dave Portnoy is Dave Portnoy. Like, there's a lot of in the gambling world. There's a lot of regulations. I don't think Dave Portnoy likes regulations a lot, to be honest. But really good deal. So they're going to make a ESPN bets. They have the sole contract for Penn now has a sole contract with ESPN for the next 10 years. That brings Penn into 16 states that they're allowed to gamble in. Very, very positive for Penn. It is up a lot, but it does have a big short flow too. You can already tell we're at some kind of moving average. I would be looking for maybe about $30.77 if it starts breaking that. I think this one's gone. This one's probably going to take it to 33.79 very, very shortly. But pretty decent news. Pretty decent news for Penn, I must say. Even as a fan of DraftKings, that was good for them. I don't think it's going to kill DraftKings by any stretch of the imagination. You do already see Caesars. That one was bouncing already. So DraftKings could still get a bounce. A little bit different of a play, though. Like I said, it's more of a direct hit to DraftKings than anybody else because Caesars already has its own locations and other avenues and venues where not so much on the DraftKings. Although DraftKings is partnered with certain casinos more localized. So we'll see. But that was good news. It's got good short float. I wouldn't want to short Penn today. I'd only want to go long for me personally. I hate getting in the way of shorts. And any kind of dip, I think, should be viable on Penn for today. And again, first target for me, probably about $30.64. And we might get a little bit higher than that, potentially 30.77. But pretty good gap on Penn. I do have to move this higher. Let's see. Is this even on my list? Oh, let's compare a symbol. And let me scoot it up a tad. The positivity of ESPN, which ESPN did have to do something. I mean, they had to do something. XOM, so Exxon Mobil. Nice little gap up on Exxon. This one's a cute little gap. Technically a retest gap. This one's actually coming in at pretty close to my favorite gap of the day. This might be my favorite gap of the day. It is still a retest candle from yesterday. It looks like we've consolidated for sure. I mean, that's trend has obviously been bullish, right? So we've been bullish on ExxonMobil since oil was negative at some point. We do have a little double top situation, but there is plenty of room up to that. It's 115. I would have to be concerned about that little potential ability to retest, but we're breaking out of all except for one VPOC. After that VPOC is broken, and if we can start holding that, I think this one will fade at open. So I would expect a pullback on this one. I'm not going to short it. That is a really nice gap. And I'd have to watch this one to see if it gets any kind of hammers, high waves, indecisions. Otherwise, there's really nothing stopping this to about 114, except for maybe the top of this candle, so 113. But even that could be really solid. ExxonMobil might be my favorite one so far. All right, we got Apple, AAPL. I think I would go bullish on ExxonMobil, and the only question to me is where. All right, we got Apple. So nice little gap up today. Still inside of this candle. This one will probably play along with some chop. I think the bullish trend has been broken, and any opportunity that people that are not long-term investors, that the only benefit to Apple right now is there's a ton of Apple in everybody's long-term portfolio that they just won't sell. But I mean, you're selling anything and you buy it lower again, that could make some sense. But yeah, nice little gap up. It's just still inside day. It is also a retest gap as well. And people might want to lighten up a tad just in case on Apple potentially. So I would probably stay away from Apple at open. If it gives us a setup, maybe we could look into it, but it'd have to run pretty extensively one way or the other. BTU, Peabody Energy. So this one does have a nice little gap up. This one's a little limited, I think, on how far this can go. 2343 would be an area that I'd be looking to probably take some profits if I was any of these guys getting into this thing ahead of time. This is also a retest gap. So if you were to fade one, this is the one I'd probably look to fade lower. You got a you telling me there's 13 point. There's a 13% short flow. Hold on, BTU. If it's 13%, ignore everything I just said. I don't want to short this thing. Yeah, I don't. Okay, yeah, 13.85. I'm not going to short it. No, I'm not going to short it. But I do have to be still concerned in a bullish direction. 23.43, 23.46, something like that. But no, yep. Without the short float, this thing I think is very fadeable. This thing probably looks like it'll come back down. With that type of short float, now if it does come down, if you get any type of selling, I think if you could find it actually in the long direction, but be aware of the 23.46. Carvana, CVNA, really nice high short float and gap and go. Yep. So they revised some of their earnings, or not earnings, but forecasts, because the stock started selling and they had to do something. I mean, they had to come out with something. This is 3 days in a row of selling. So they came out, they revised some of the outlooks to some positive numbers. Everything looks handy dandy there, but still inside of this big candle. Does have that good short float. This will be one to watch too today. Maybe about $2, about $1.70, something like that to the upside. We'll throw this one higher on the list for the open. All right, so I got that one on the list. Square SQ, the bend in yen. Yep. All right, let's see. We got Square Dizzle. So Square getting a little bit of love. That was that is a nice looking gap and go. The only thing is you are going to hit resistance very, very shortly. 63.80, 63.90, we'll call it. And then where's your bigger volume come in? This candle. So could this little gap still run into here in a future date? This thing kind of rolls over. Potentially. This all could be just kind of a run up, retest the previous VPOC and then come down. I think Square could be a little bit to the choppy side. It is a gap and go. Again, I'd be concerned about how far it could run. And I don't know. Did I ever buy Disney? Yep, I did buy Disney. I got somewhere around $85-ish, 85 and change. So somewhere in these things, I actually had 2 months deposits. I also sold some puts for $79 on Disney that expires on, I think, the 25th of August. They do have earnings tomorrow. They do have it, but I'm okay with the sold puts because either I lock in the premium and this thing goes higher. I do have some shares already kind of built up. So if it goes higher, great. And if it comes lower, I think it's still Disney. Well, I actually kind of still know it's still Disney. They didn't change completely to just Penn Entertainment yet, but this is I'm okay if I get filled at $79. So then if I do get filled, or we do hit $79, or this thing gaps down lower tomorrow after earnings, I will be selling some more puts and just continuing to add shares to Disney because I do like it anywhere around $85 or below. So get it to me as low as possible, baby. Set me up nice on that Disney. They got Disney Plus. Jeffrey says Matt D has one. I can see if I can get it for you. That is Jefferson. He says, did you make a YouTube on attaching a bot to VPN? Yeah, I'm not R2D2. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you how to attach a bot to it. No clue. But that's why we got Matt DeLong to come in. Matt, yeah, if he has not already created one, which I doubt he has not created one, he probably does have one out there. And it looks like Jeffrey's saying Matt does have one. So I would shoot Matt a message if you can't find it. But we got Toast. There's a good gap up, technically a retest gap, but clearing that pivot, that looks good. Also could be on the list for a decent favorite gap for today. What is the short float here? TOST. They make toasters. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. 7.66. That's a decent short float. That should be squeezing a lot of bulls or a lot of the bears. Not outside of that big volume candle. And I hate when we're not gapping above the biggest volume negative candle ever. So is this a spot for people to reload? I don't know. But so far decent. I think I'd want a small little pullback on this one. Let's add this to the list as well. What do I got? 2 more minutes left. Do. Go higher. There you go. Watch that, but Page is having trouble, and I thought someone made one on troubleshooting. Jason P. King said he sold Apple. Yep, probably right at the top. Blink short float BLNK. Blink. Technically, the retest gap hasn't gapped enough, I think, to scare some shorts. That would be my concern. If this thing starts getting maybe above 689, that would be decent. Let's see. There you go. Buying at the bottom. Win says I'll buy more. I don't know what you're buying more of. Disney, I guess. Disney. Just you. How about Win? Just you tell me what you're buying, and then I'm gonna just buy that with you. Why don't we do that? And then you tell me, you're like, yeah, my whole portfolio is Blink, and then maybe I won't buy it with you actually, but we'll see. You know, I'm open for some options. But unfortunately, it is 9:30. That is the morning bell. So unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, because we do get to trade. Unfortunately, though, I do have to disconnect from YouTube. Everybody out there, YouTube, you guys are absolutely great. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and any notification bells or whatever YouTube thing comes.